12 Huge EastEnders spoilers for next week from the 11th to the 14th of March 2024. What's coming up in Walford? 1. George struggles to cope. It's Mother's Day in Walford, and Cindy is excited about celebrating with Gina, Anna and Peter together for the first time. However, George is struggling to cope, having been informed that no DNA matches have been found for him and no trace of his birth family. 2. Gina and Anna learn the truth. Elaine and Cindy urge George to tell Gina and Anna the truth about his heritage before they head to Jamaica. He reluctantly agrees, and Gina and Anna are horrified when George shares his story. They're even more furious to discover the truth about Eddie and the trial. 3. Johnny puts pressure on Stacy. Stacy and Jack are thrown together as Lily and Ricky celebrate Mother's Day at Walford East. Amy and Ricky beg Jack to let them see Denise, and he promises to try to make it happen, but to no avail. With Denise still refusing to see anyone, Johnny tells Stacy that she needs to get to her before Jack and the kids do, or they run the risk of their secret being revealed. 4. George has a huge decision to make. Gloria tries to contact George, after being coerced by Eddie, and begs him to give a defense statement in court. George goes to see them and tells them to never contact him or the girls again. However, Eddie retaliates by telling him that he's got information about George's birth mother and will only hand it over if George gives him a character reference in court the following day. 5. Suki tries to make amends with Eve. Vinny tells Suki to make it up with Eve, who is still hurt that Suki moved out of the Slater house. Suki apologizes to Eve and invites her to move into number 41 with her, but doesn't get the response she wanted. 6. Jean supports Jade. Jean steps in to save the day when Jade is about to cancel her charity auction. She soon realizes just how much there is to do, and how very little time they have to do it in. Jean struggles with a lack of donations for the auction, until Pastor Clayton and Yolande step in to help. 7. George takes to the stand. George is in turmoil as he contemplates Eddie's ultimatum, leaving his family desperately worried for him. Elaine asks Johnny to talk through the legal implications of giving the statement in the hope this will make George's mind up, but he remains conflicted. After a heart-to-heart with Linda, George decides to trust his gut and heads to the trial, where Gloria is distracted by the arrival of a mysterious woman. George eventually arrives at the court and takes to the stand. 8. Stacy is caught out. Johnny piles on the pressure to get Stacy to sort out the issue of Denise, reminding her of what it will mean for the Six if she doesn't. Stacy manages to get Denise to let her visit, where she learns that Denise is no longer seeing visions of Keanu, but intends to stay in hospital. Stacy argues that Denise needs her family around her, until Jack walks in and demands to know why Stacy is there. 9. Eve finds an unlikely ally. Penny becomes an unlikely confidant for Eve, who is worried that living with Suki's family would be a recipe for disaster. Following some advice from Penny, Eve finally talks to Suki about her fears. 10. George gets a mystery visitor. Elaine continues to worry about George following the trial. Cindy joins forces with Elaine to help George for the sake of Gina and Anna, but the arrival of a mystery visitor at the Vic soon changes everything. 11. Jack grows suspicious. Stacy thinks on her feet to give Jack a convincing cover story as to why she's with Denise. During a talk with Dr. Abe later, Denise explains that she feels safe in the hospital and wants to stay. Jack is hurt after being rejected by Denise again and becomes increasingly unsettled by her closeness to Stacy. Unable to shake off his concerns, he starts to do some digging. 12. Yolande makes an unsettling discovery. Yolande addresses the prayer group to ask for donations to the charity auction, and she and Pastor Clayton delight Jean with their help. Yolande is later upset to discover from a fellow church-goer that people are whispering about her relationship with Pastor Clayton. A further upsetting incident at the church leaves Yolande feeling worse about the rumors flying around them. When Pastor Clayton makes Yolande tell him what's going on, he denounces the gossips and makes her promise that it won't affect their friendship.
Các bạn vừa theo dõi một sản phẩm của OK Spoiler. Xin chào và hẹn gặp lại các bạn video tiếp theo.